On today's primetime local news, City Council is looking for feedback on their plans for the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Center. And Skills Alberta held their regional competition in Vermilion, hosting over 80 competitors. Plus, 4 local judo athletes are looking to fight their way to nationals.
Prime time local news, serving the Lakeland and Midwest regions.
The Canada Health Authority is advising people who travel to avoid areas that have had known cases of the coronavirus unless it's absolutely necessary.
If you've traveled to an affected area or had potential to contact an individual who was a suspected or confirmed case, they're asking that you withdraw, isolate yourself for a 2-week period, and within that you'd also contact your local health authority and they would give you further guidance at that point. But so the big thing is basically watch where you're traveling. If you come back with symptoms after traveling, to self-isolate, consult your health authority, and then they'll give you further direction as to how you're supposed to proceed.
Health Canada is urging people to refrain from traveling unless it's essential travel. If that's the case, there are a few ways that could help prevent catching the virus.
It would be to weigh the risk and benefit of where you're traveling to, and then assess whether or not you wish to take the risk of traveling there. If travel is necessary, essentially sanitation precautions are the best way of prevention.
If you experience symptoms which include coughing, a fever, and difficulty breathing, isolate yourself to a single room and contact the health authority. However, the chance of catching the coronavirus in Canada is still low.
The risk in Canada is still deemed low. Vigilance essentially is key. If you come up with those symptoms and you meet the criteria for the travel, it's important to follow the protocol that's been laid out of self-isolation and reporting.
The city is taking a step forward on updating the Lloydminster Cultural and Science Centre, looking at options to lease space to house the artifacts during possible reconstruction. Eric Bay has more on what's next for the LCSC.
Council discussed a proposal that would see the LCSC decommissioned and begin planning a new facility, but hesitated after concerns were raised about the speed of the decision.
I was approached by numerous members of the public about the fact that it was a lot of information to go through in a very short amount of time. You know, we've been dealing with this for a while as council, and there's no secret there. But to have that report come out and be published late last week, and then have it come to council for decision today, it was felt by many that that wasn't the right thing to do. It gave people not enough time to dissect it.
The city will move forward by negotiating a lease for potential relocation of the LCSC's items, but will also hold a community engagement session before going further, which was suggested by Councillor Jonathan Torreson.
This route does give us a chance to both get into a space that is, better for the public to visit, hopefully puts a better product on display, and does it at a cost that we may be able to afford. Now, whether the public or not has had enough engagement is really up for debate.
Getting the ball rolling was important for council to plan how the LCSC will fit financially in the future.
Right now we're going off of some assumptions, but also some conversations that have happened, but really giving an opportunity for administration to negotiate will firm up those numbers, so we really, from a budget perspective, know what we're getting ourselves into for the next 10 years.
Going into the lease negotiations is okay because you're still not entering into an agreement. We're just looking to make sure that we have some options when we get to that point.
City Council will have to ensure that the new LCSC will fit with the cost of all the new and current projects that the city has coming up, including the wastewater treatment plant and a new fire hall. The date for the community engagement session has not been set. Eric Bay, Primetime Local News.
The Lakeland Regional Skills Canada competition took place at Lakeland College today, and our reporter Shelby Clark says the students got a big chance to show off their talents.
From Vermilion and surrounding areas, 86 competitors from 14 schools explored their natural interests and talents in their chosen fields for this competition.
Competitors today are competing in a variety of events, from auto service to baking, culinary, cabinet making, carpentry, electrical, welding, video production.
Today's competition is a qualifying event for only secondary students, since there's a post-secondary category at provincials.
Some of the students believe this event is a big deal for them to compete at Lakeland College and against other schools.
It's my first time being in it, whereas like lots of the girls have been in it like once or twice or even 3 times. So being my first year in, it's kind of nerve-wracking since they all know what they're doing, but other than that, it's fine.
This skills competition is heading into its 28th year and continues to benefit students in the long run. Pollock says they're very excited to showcase the youth and talent in the trade and technology sector.
The resilience and the commitment that students show to participate in a Skills Canada Alberta competition is incredible. So we believe this really builds a good foundation for students to set them up for their future career opportunities and just having that resilience to do whatever they want to pursue.
Students gain an appreciation for their skills and are encouraged to do their absolute best by taking them out of the classroom.
It's a great thing to do. Like, instead of just showing up to Cosmo class every day and showing your teacher what you can do, you get to go and show a whole bunch of other people and see what other people come up with too.
The top finalists will advance onto the Provincial Skills Canada competition in May at the Edmonton Expo Centre. For Primetime Local News, I'm Shelby Clark.
A program being run by LPSD that aims to better connect students with mentors is growing in popularity. Grade 8 students from E.S. Laird School took part in the Be the Light program. They were reunited with a mentor, either a parent or an important adult in their life. The pairs take part in one-on-one activities where they learn to share and listen to each other.
We have parents coming in saying, oh, I just can't get my kid off the phone. I just don't know, they seem to be just tied to it and I can't seem to have any quality time with them. And then I talk to my students in the classroom and they're like, my parent is always on their phone and I can't seem to get any time. So this is a time where we put the phones away and we just concentrate on each other's.
The program started as a pilot program in one school in April, and within 3 weeks it expanded to 3 schools in Lloydminster. Other groups have reached out wanting to participate in the program. Organizers are looking to expand and hold the workshop on evenings and weekends so more can benefit.
Our youth have just one person that totally believes in them, that will back them up, that will support them through everything they do. Their chances of success, they increase like astronomically.
Earlier today at College Park School, Harold R. Johnson, former lawyer and Crown prosecutor, spoke to students about storytelling. Johnson spoke about his time as Crown prosecutor and cases he had been involved in. He also spoke a lot about the power of storytelling to students.
We have to challenge a whole bunch of stories that we've been told that are leading us in a direction that society shouldn't necessarily be going in. And we have to challenge all of the stories that we're told.
Johnson has written 9 books, 5 of them being fiction, but he wants to do more than just tell a simple story.
The example I use is the placebo-nocebo. And placebo effect we're all familiar with. If I give you a pill and tell you that it's medicine, many people get help from that. And it's not the sugar in the pill, it's the story. So the power of stories can heal you, and we know that through the placebo effect.
Johnson also mentioned that students have to be more careful with what they write on social media. Now to our Abby St. John with the weather.
Thanks, Jasmine. It's currently 0 here in Lloydminster. Heavier cloud coverage is making its way in as we are under a winter storm warning. A lot of central Alberta is under that warning, and a few places in Saskatchewan are under a snowfall warning, but we're predicted to get some heavy snowfall, about a 60% chance of it starting overnight tonight, and then tomorrow also a little bit of heavy snowfall. Winds coming out of the west-southwest at 12 kilometers per hour. And then your current temperatures in Saskatchewan, +4 in Meadow Lake, 2 in Prince Albert, -1 in Melfort, 0 in Saskatoon, and 2 in North Battleford. And then on the Alberta side, 5 out in Jasper, 4 in Edmonton and Cold Lake, 3 in Athabasca, Whitecourt, and in Edson, 1 in Rocky Mountain House, and 2 out in Red Deer. And then overnight in North Battleford, the temperature will drop to -6, and that wind will be at 13 kilometers per hour coming in from the south-southeast and pick up to 22 kilometers per hour tomorrow coming in from the east. There is currently no storm warnings in North Battleford to be worried about. and then it's going to be mostly cloudy, and there's a chance of some light snowfall occurring tomorrow morning. In Cold Lake overnight, under that winter storm warning, -6 is the temperature overnight. Heavy cloud coverage with the temperature dropping to or the wind coming in from the east-southeast at 9 kilometers per hour and picking up to 30 kilometers per hour tomorrow, coming in from the northeast with a daytime high of -1 and that possibility of heavy to light snowfall mix throughout the mid-morning and early afternoon. Here in Lloydminster overnight, the temperature will drop to -6 and that wind will be coming out of the southeast at 13 kilometers per hour and pick up to 30 kilometers per hour tomorrow, coming in from the northeast with that large chance of some heavy snowfall tomorrow, possibly starting tonight with a daytime high of -1, which will feel closer to -23 with that wind chill and a low of -6. And then on Sunday, a mix of sun and cloud with a high of -6, which will feel closer to -14 and a low of -15. And then back on Monday, a high of +1, which will feel closer to -15 and a low of -8. That is a look at your 3-day forecast. We'll have more news coming up after the break.
Lakeland Athletics are seeing quite the busy weekend, starting off with the volleyball teams. Last night, the wrestlers were in action for the ACAC playoffs. Each of the teams took 3-0 losses, but still have volleyball left to play. The women took on the big Red Deer College Queens team. The wrestlers got off their ball control game and were unable to capitalize on their hitting, having only a .127 team kill percentage. On the men's side, none of the North teams won their first game. The wrestlers dropped their match to the hosts, Lethbridge Kodiaks.
I think it's going to be a great experience for our guys moving forward because I think we're going to have a good turnover for next year as well. So a win is what we're looking for, and the experience is just a bonus.
Each of those teams also played today, with the men taking on Keano College and the women taking on Medicine Hat. The basketball teams will be in Lloyd on Saturday, taking on the Concordia Thunder. This is the final regular season game for the teams and will also be their senior night. The men's and mixed curling teams will be in action in the ACAC finals in Red Deer. The men's team got into the tournament courtesy of a tiebreak match, while the mixed team finished second in the conference. Finals for that will be on Sunday. 4 local girls are trying to fulfill their dreams of going to Judo Nationals. Here's how they're planning on doing it. These members of the Lloydminster Judo Club are training to compete at the national level of judo. Their plan is to push themselves even more than before.
Work hard, train hard, hopefully medal at the next tournament, which is like pretty soon in Edmonton and Vancouver.
And I want a medal there so I can go to nationals and do good. Go to a bit more competitions and train a bit harder.
Same thing, like I just started really competing this year, and we're both the funded athletes to go from this club. So just train harder and prove that it was a good decision to send us.
With a total of 4 silver and 2 gold medals between the 4 of them after their last tournament, they're all looking to rack up a few more before hopefully heading to Judo Nationals in Edmonton at the end of May. The NHL's newest star is coming to Saskatoon next weekend. Backup goalie David Ayres will be at the Blades game next Friday when they take on the Regina Pats. The 42-year-old Zamboni driver became an overnight sensation on Saturday night. Ayres stepped into the net for the Carolina Hurricanes in their win against the Toronto Maple Leafs. The appearance is in partnership with the Kidney Foundation to encourage people to become organ donors. Ayres received a kidney from his mom in 2004. And now we'll go to our Abby St. John, who's got the weather.
Thanks, Evan. Taking a look at our satellite radars, heavy snow activity on its way. We are under a winter storm warning, as a lot of central Alberta is, so definitely be cautious about that, as there's a 60% chance that it could occur overnight tonight and into tomorrow mid-morning, early afternoon for most of the region. 2 to 4 centimeters is predicted in Cold Lake to fall, as they are also under that winter storm warning. On the Saskatchewan side, not as many warnings. North Battleford is clear of all warnings. St. Walburg, Meadow Lake, Green Lake, Pierceland under a snowfall warning, not so much a storm warning, so definitely still be cautious about that, as there is chances of snowfall to overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Current temperatures in Alberta: 0 here in Lloydminster, 4 in Marwayne, Cold Lake, Bonnyville, and out in Edmonton, 3 in Lac La Biche and St. Paul, 1 in Vermilion, Vegreville, and in Provost. And on the Saskatchewan side, 1 in Isla Crosse, Green Lake, Pierceland, Meadow Lake, and -1 in St. Walburg, 2 in North Battleford and Macklin, and 0 out in Maidstone. And tomorrow here in Saskatchewan, -4 in Isla Crosse, -1 in Green Lake, Pierceland, Meadow Lake, St. Walburg, and here in Lloydminster, 0 in Maidstone, 1 in North Battleford, and 2 in Macklin. And on the Alberta side, -2 in Edmonton, Lac La Biche, and St. Paul, -1 in Cold Lake, Bonnyville, Marwayne, Vegreville, Vermilion, and Provost, and 0 out in Wainwright. And then overnight across the region, heavier cloud coverage making its way in overnight tonight. -6 in Meadow Lake, Pierceland, Unity, Bonnyville, and Murnum, -8 in Isla Crosse, -5 in Paradise Hill and Wainwright, and -4 in Provost. And then nationally across Canada, Whitehorse and Yellowknife both experiencing some snow, -12 in Whitehorse and -19 in Yellowknife. +1 out in Regina, where they're sitting fairly clear, just a little bit of cloud coverage. 7 out in Vancouver, heavier cloud coverage over there. -8 in Winnipeg with a little bit of cloud. -7 in Toronto, where they're experiencing some snowfall. -3 in St. John's, and -2 in Halifax. And then over the next 7 days, a high of -1 and a low of -6 for tomorrow, with that heavy chance of snowfall. Mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, with a high of -6 and a low of -15. Back on Monday, a high of +1 and a low of -8 with a mix of sun and cloud. On Tuesday, a 46% chance of snow with a high of +2 and a low of -8. On Wednesday, there's a 72% chance of snow with a high of -1 and a low of -7. On Thursday, it should be a nice, clear, sunny day with a high of -2 and a low of -10. And then on Friday, heavier cloud coverage with a high of 0 and a low of -8. That is a look at your 7-day forecast. We'll have more news and question of the day coming up after the break.
Our question of the day today has to do with something I can't believe it's already been 10 years ago, but the golden goal at the Vancouver 2010 Olympics, again, was 10 years ago, which is pretty crazy, and it's really one of the most iconic sports moments in Canadian Olympic history. So we asked on our Facebook page, what are some of your favorite moments from the Olympics?
Yeah, we got a couple of comments. One lady chimed in and said the opening ceremonies, which is always fun to see all the countries coming out and, showcasing their athletes, and it really gets people into the spirit of the Olympics. And then another commenter said Alexander Bilodeau winning Canada's first ever gold medal on home soil, which is, again, very special, which also makes the golden goal super special as well, because it was Team Canada in Canada against the U.S., which, that's pretty perfect. Anytime we beat the US, but in Canada, and that amazing goal that's now lived on forever.
Yes, exactly. And a lot of people do remember where they were exactly when this goal took place. And it's kind of funny because we were only 10 years old when this happened. And I remember coming back from a hockey game and then seeing this. So it's just crazy to think we were so young when this happened, and it doesn't even feel like that long ago.
Exactly. We were only in the 5th grade, I think. And I remember our teacher putting, some Canada games on TV during class if we had downtime. So yeah, those are always moments that's crazy to think that it was 10 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. Now we are going to be taking a look at your pet pictures. So thank you to everyone who did submit your pictures, and we will be giving away a Pet Pat gift card at the end of this hour.
We want to see your pet. Send photos of your pet and their name to our Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram to have them featured on Pet of the Day. Your name will be entered into a weekly draw for a gift certificate from the Pet Pad.
In studio today, joining me is Lloydminster Bobcats head coach and GM Nigel Dubé. Nigel, thanks for coming in. With the season wrapping up here, you guys had your awards on Tuesday. Just break that down for me a little bit. Starting off with, I guess, Rookie of the Year, Max Stewart, who also scored in your guys' Wednesday game.
Yeah, Max came in, made an early season transaction right out of the gate with him and brought him in from the BC, and he's a Calgary kid and came in and did great things for us right out of the gate and played a lot of minutes, and he's got a real nice offensive touch to him, and that was a big part. I think he could set the puck up or he could shoot it, and we worked on getting him to shoot the puck more so down the stretch, and I think Wednesday night was an example of that when he buried the goal.
For sure, 16 goals on the season and 26 or 27 points for him on the year. The big winner of the night was Chance Adrian, walking away with 3 awards.
Yeah, well, Chance, and a lot of those awards all those awards were picked by their peers, and he was an instrumental player for our organization. He was a team MVP, most dedicated, and the community ambassador too as well. And he was a great leader for us, and did everything the right way and all the time. And I can't say enough good things about him, and actually just chatted with him here a short while ago of he's heading home now, and just how big he was in laying the foundation and the direction we're going as an organization, and he speaks to his character.
Now, you guys had quite a bit of growth this year, whether it was as a team or specific players, and one player that comes to mind for myself when I think growth is Nolan Coventry, really stepping up, especially after the New Year's. He only had 6 points heading into the new year. Just talk about, I guess, his growth and maybe a couple of other guys's.
Well, we joked with Cubs after in our exit meetings, and he was an absolute beast in the second half, and he was a whole new player, played up and down our lineup, and was playing a shutdown role at times, and the next thing you know, we got him in front of the net, and he's tipping the pucks, and I think he had 5 of the 6 goals or whatever it may be were all tips in front on the power play, big body that was hard to move, and he brought a lot of energy, and sometimes it takes that with so much change, and like we had 20 of 22 new players, and he was one of those that adjust to a new team, adjust to a new community, but he was a huge part in the second half, and he was big time for us. And our young guys, Javen Leslie, local product, and he grew before the season started, and then he grew as the season went and matured, and I thought he was really good down the stretch too as well, and after Christmas. And we weren't as young after Christmas because we matured. We matured in a lot of ways, junior hockey, and I think it spoke in February there with our record in February of just where we got to. And Tegan Skihar is another 16-year-old that played big minutes as a 16-year-old. Him and Tyson Kowalik and Ben Bygrove were 16 and 2 17-year-olds of the 6 regular D-men in the back end. So those young guys took it to the next level.
And with those, specifically those 3 young guys on the back end, you guys are looking for that depth and should be good on the back end for I guess a few years now heading forward, and you guys can keep all of your D-men heading into next year. How big is that for the team?
Well, a year ago when I was sitting in this chair, we had 0 goalies and 0 defensemen. So to be able to have such a core be able to come back, and it's big for us. And those guys are going to be 17 and 18 next year with a year in the league. And Ben didn't play in the first half for the most part until late November. But we're able to defend, and we know that we need to score some more goals moving forward. But to have those and our leader in Gunnar Kinnenberg already established, and knowing that we have a captain in that dressing room is another big part. And he was another player when we talk about players in the second half. He was a minus in the first half, and he was a plus hockey player in the second half. And he'll be able to start like that. The whole core will on the back end from day one next year.
Now you guys have quite a few 2000s and 2001s. How's that kind of going to shape your guys' lineup here? Like you mentioned, now they have a lot of them have a year under their belt, and what kind of confidence will that give?
Well, it's huge. I think you look at most teams' top-end scorers are the older players on the team, with the exception to a couple teams and a couple special players in the league. But your older guys usually score those goals. And there was one year here that we could go really young, and we stuck to our plan, and that was a big part, staying young. And then you look at next year, and we're going to be an older hockey team. There's some teams in our league right now with 15, 19-year-olds on the team, and we're not going to get to that point, but our 18s becoming 19 or older, more mature, and know what's going on. It also helps with the leadership that they can, help out with the younger guys too, so we have that balance. But it's exciting when we have that core established, and they're a year older, and they also know Lloydminster. They're coming back to whether it be the same bill at home or just being used to the surroundings, the dressing room, the performance center, all that goes a long ways.
Well, Nigel, thanks for coming in, and best of luck this summer with the scouting process.
Thank you.
I'm Justin with Boom 1019 and Hot 93.7, and here's what's happening. The Relay for Life is kicking off in Wainwright at the Wainwright High School on Saturday, May 30th. This event starts at 11 and ends at 11 p.m. Make sure you check this one out. If you'd like to register, you can visit relayforlife.ca/Wainwright. No one should face cancer alone. The Vic Juba is getting a whole bunch of fantastic acts. This weekend, you have the Great Big C's Alan Doyle, which we are actually giving away tickets for currently on our show. Make sure you're listening 8:30 a.m. for the cue to call on that one. If you win a pair of tickets, you automatically get entered into a draw to win a meet and greet and a signed poster with Alan Doyle, which is pretty awesome. And then you have the Snowden Comedy Tour that is taking place on March 5th. That features a whole bunch of award-winning and hilarious comics. You're not going to want to miss out on that one, trust me. And Warm Up to Wainwright is taking place at CFB Wainwright on March 5th as well. That is going down at 4:30 to 6:30, a nice evening event with the family. There's going to be free hot dogs, a character artist, special guests, plus demonstrations and samples from local businesses and organizations. Lots of stuff happening this week. Make sure you check it out. I'm Justin with Boom 1019 and Hot 93.7, and that's what's happening.
Furniture set and design supplied by Furniture Gallery and Furniture House, downtown Lloydminster.
Hey, it's Justin Marshall from Primetime Local News, and I'm in Bonnyville today at the Bonnyville and District Centennial Center, where this place is going to be absolutely rocking tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. It's first round of the playoffs. Your Bonnyville Pontiacs taking on the Drayton Valley Thunder, and I'm joined with head coach and general manager Rick Swan. Coach, was this the matchup you wanted?
Well, I don't know if it's the ideal matchup because we know Drayton Valley is a very good hockey team. They play hard. They're well coached. Their coach was mentored by the same two gentlemen that was my mentor, and that's Claire Drake and Billy Morris. So I know that they're going to have great structure. It's going to be a great series, and if anybody wants to see some great junior A hockey of committed individuals that leave everything on the ice, this is going to be a terrific series for anybody. So come on down to the RJ, and it's just going to be terrific hockey. It's going to be something for everybody.
Last year, this place was electrifying. The fans really get into it at playoff time. How tough is the RJ a place to play in the playoffs?
Well, I'm obviously biased. I know that our fans provide us a sixth man on the ice. They are loud. They expect honesty. They just want honest work from our players, and when our players are able to do that and they see an entertaining brand of hockey, which our players do and what the North Division does, the place in here gets electric. And the farther we go in playoffs, the more jazzed it's going to be in this building. But I love our fans. They are loyal, they're supportive, and again, they just want that honesty from our players, and I know we've got that this year within our team.
Speak about the parity in the North. I mean, the top four, it's so tight.
Well, I would even venture to the top 5 or top 6 on any given night. Anybody is going to get success against anybody else, and they all have an identity of work. They all have an identity of playing hard 200 feet, which really makes the North Division a beast in all its own. And we've said for years, arguably, that the North Division And the Alberta Junior Hockey League is the best division in Canada, and players learn how to play the right way because they have to play the right way on both sides of the puck, and that's what gets that parity. Drayton Valley is an awfully good hockey team. Fort McMurray is one of the most difficult places to play in the Casman Centre. Grand Prairie is a difficult place to get to in Revolution Place, but you look at the Sherwood Parks and the Spruce Groves and the White Courts and the Bonnievilles. It's a game where you're going to get the right type of hockey, the right brand of hockey, and it's always tough to win in the North Division.
New this year, it's not 5 games anymore. It's best of 7 in the first round. Does that change anything?
It does. We know with a 5-game series that if you get a hot goaltender, it could change the complexion of a series, and maybe not the team that was dominant in the regular season is the team that's going to get through a 5-game series. 7-game series should regulate things, and at the end of the day, it forces teams to work, and it forces teams to, if they were good at the regular season, then it usually regulates itself out. But anything can happen. It's a new season. Everyone starts with 0 wins, and a hot goaltender and the team that limits their mistakes, the team that stays most disciplined, and the team that comes for a 60-minute consistent effort is usually the team that's going to win.
Every time I talk to you or any hockey pundit, they say Drayton Valley comes to play. They play the full 60. They work really hard. How do you match that to take this series?
Well, it really is going to come down to execution. And execution means being able to bring that practice to the game. And we always say one of the things in Bonnieville with our coaching staff is that we're about intention, we're about purpose. Everything that we do on the ice in terms of a practice setting, and that's what I love so much about the game, is that you get to teach kids how to play the right way. And if we're doing something without intention and purpose, then we're wasting their time. And our players know at the end of the season that they just need to bring that practice to a game because there's no stone unturned. They're prepared for anything, and the mindset that we want our players with is that they're ready for anything, and they can just go out there and play. So our guys are going to have to execute, and they're going to have to bring the practice to the game, play with hard within that framework of the structure, limit their mistakes, and then also stay disciplined so that we're not allowing teams to beat us on specialty teams. But we got X factors. Easton Hess is going to have to be terrific in the playoffs if we have a chance. Our defense are going to have to keep things simple, and they're going to have to move pucks. And then our top line of Lucas Thorne, Dane Dubois, and Matt McKim are going to be at their very best, along with the supporting cast of the Matt McKims and kids like Josh Kuhn. That those guys have to be our best players night in and night out, and they have to be better than the other team's best players.
Good luck tomorrow, Coach.
Hey, thanks so much, Justin.
Bonnieville Pontiacs, they start their playoff series tomorrow night right here at the RJ. It starts at 7 o'clock against the Drayton Valley Thunder. We'll send it back to you guys in studio.
As it is the end of the week, we are going to be taking a look at who the Pet Pad gift card winner is. So thank you to everyone who did submit, and let's see who the winner is.
And our lucky winner is Sashi, this adorable little cat, sleepy kitty from earlier this week. Donna, I'll be in contact with you on Monday to give you details on when and where to pick up your gift card. And thank you to everyone who continues to submit their photos. Again, I love seeing all of your pets. And it's so hard to choose, but definitely all deserving. So again, thank you so much to everyone who submits.
And every pet is super cute.
Oh yes.
Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight, and have a great weekend.